Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Friday, September 12, 2025, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Man, I've been waiting to talk to y'all all day. Hashtag, we tried to tell you. MAGA is losing its mind because one of their own was arrested for the murder of Charlie Kirk. His mama, his daddy, his grandmama, they're all MAGA. They're all Trump supporters. Early reports say he felt Charlie Kirk was not conservative enough. Oh, we got CVS long receipts how all of these right-wingers who are blaming the left and blaming black people and blaming transgender, they are deleting tweets, deleting videos. We got lots to talk about. Also, MSNBC sends out a shameful email to the companies, all the employees across the country, calling Charlie Kirk a father, a husband, a devout Christian, but they don't say nothing about his blatant racism. Is that how journalists are supposed to be acting? Also, Donald Trump says he's going to send the National Guard to Memphis next. We'll talk with State Representative Justin Pearson about that issue. And in Dallas, Black McDonald's operator Roland Parrish holds his annual golf tournament. He and I talk about black business and also the importance of giving back. Y'all buckle up. It is time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, Rolling with Roland now. He's from
Folks, we've got lots to break down today on the show, and I can't wait until we get into it. In about 20 minutes, we're going to talk to State Representative Justin Pearson, represents Memphis because Donald Trump plans on sending in the National Guard to Memphis to talk about the issue of crime. Lots of stuff that I want to get into on today's show. And then, of course, y'all know we are going to get into all of this nonsense that we saw today. How white MAGA is losing it. How all of a sudden, in 48 hours, we went from destroy, kill, take out the left, these destructive animals. I mean, they had all sorts of stuff to say, to now all of a sudden, let's pray. Let's pray. Let's call upon God to speak to our minds and hearts and pray for this troubled soul who allegedly shot and killed their beloved Charlie Kirk. I mean, it is a 180-degree turn. Because, see, it's amazing what happens when one of your own is busted, when one of your own, you come to find out, is responsible. I mean, we had nothing. I mean, nothing. But all kinds of stuff. So, y'all, I got to get into a whole lot of this. And so, y'all know we got lots to unpack. I mean, we got lots to unpack. It's going. I'm telling y'all, just want to buckle up. Y'all want to buckle up. So let me get to some other news first before I get to that. And I know y'all want me to get to that, but trust me, we gotta let folk get here. This thing gotta marinate, because I'm telling y'all, we're gonna deal with this in the last part of the show. We're gonna deal with that. Let's talk about voting first. I have repeatedly said that the thug-in-chief, Donald Trump, is a cheater. He's a cheater. He's a liar. You can ask all of his wives and his ex-wives. He cheats at everything. Now what they're trying to do, they're trying to build this massive database of voter information that's across the country. Okay? Now remember, Steve Bannon has been out here saying, well, we've got lawyers saying that Trump could run for a third term. Even though the Constitution is very clear about only being able to serve 2 terms. Okay? According to the New York Times, the Department of Justice is gathering the most extensive collection of national voter roll data ever, compiled in an attempt to substantiate their long-held, unverified, flat-out lies about undocumented immigrants voting illegally. The Times said the initiative involves collaboration between the civil rights and the criminal divisions of the Justice Department. They're seeking data about individuals, names, and addresses, which experts say could potentially violate the law. Now, let's be clear. These people are liars. They make up stuff. So I don't have any trust in anything that emanates from anything associated with Donald Trump. Whether it's DOJ, whether it's the Federal Trade Commission, the SEC, it doesn't matter. These people love to lie. They love to push falsehoods and want us to fall for the okie doke. This is also why I keep telling black people we can't be sitting out elections. We can't be doing these things. In Missouri today, what did they do? They passed Trump's racist gerrymandered map, destroying the congressional district of Congressman Emanuel Cleaver there in Kansas City, former mayor of Kansas City, preacher, my alpha brother. Right now in Missouri, it's 7-2. 7 Republicans, 2 Democrats Two Democrats are Emmanuel Cleaver in Kansas City, Wesley Bell in St. Louis. So they don't want 7-2, they want 8-1. So that's what's going on. That's also what's happening. So I need our people to understand that they are targeting not just undocumented immigrants. They are targeting black people. And we better understand this is the most vicious, racist assault on voting rights since Jim Crow. This is absolutely Jim Crow 2.0. My panel today, Candace Kelly, legal analyst, host, Not All Hood, out of South Orange, New Jersey. Appreciate you being here. Matt Manning, civil rights attorney out of Corpus Christi, Texas. Michael Imhotep, host, African History Network show out of Detroit. Candace, I'll start with you. I'm clear. I don't trust anything these people do. Nothing, nada. They are liars. They are cheaters. And if they all of a sudden come back, we found massive voter fraud, I believe that it will be completely made up.
Listen, this is already set under the Constitution who actually should manage the voting and manage who is, how to register, things of that nature. It's in Article 1. Little by little, what we are seeing is we're seeing the administration try to reverse the Constitution, as you say, all the way back to Jim Crow. That's what this is going to be. It's going to be an organization of voters that they seem to deem fit, that they seem to say needs to be on this voter registration list or not. As you said, it's only going to work out in their favor, or else they wouldn't be doing it. They would not put out all of the money and effort and time to do something that doesn't benefit them. So whatever they're cooking up to make it something good that tastes good just to them. And that is what's going on right now. I mean, there is no national voter registration, and that is for a reason. It belongs to the states. And as you mentioned already, we see what's happening with gerrymandering already, and what what the federal government is doing there. We know it's just going to bleed over into this composite of those who can vote. It will not work out well for anybody who has an accent, anybody who is a person of color, or anybody who might be below the poverty line. It will not work out.
I mean, look, Matt, they've lost everywhere, every court. And these fools, these liars insist on voter fraud. Republicans have been yelling and screaming this. Voter fraud is nearly, it's just, as a matter of fact, when you look at the cases of actual voter fraud, it's done by Republicans.
Yeah, what I thought initially when I read this story was data is the new oil. I think Candace kind of alluded to it. I don't even know what's on the back end of this, but I know it's one, nefarious, and two, I think it's going to be something that's going to end up really affecting the core question of the validity of elections, or at least they're going to try to make it that. And what they're likely going to do is find a very small number of instances, if any at all, of voter fraud, and they're going to try to magnify it and show that there's some widespread voter fraud. Because as we know, every one of those cases that got filed related to that was lost, right? I mean, people lost law licenses behind moving those false cases. So I think it's a question of how are they going to ultimately use this data. I know part of it is a citizenship attack. They're checking people's citizenship status, and we know that there's going to be an immigration nexus. But beyond that, I think Candace is right. There's something that they're cooking up, and I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but surely it's going to be to try to undermine both local and federal elections, and to just make Americans at large think you can't trust any elections, despite the fact that most states are able to have stable and credible elections, in any cycle. So that's what I think is coming down the pike, but I don't know exactly what that looks like just yet.
Michael, with these people, people might as well go ahead and get ready. Donald Trump is going to send ICE, U.S. Marshals, every federal law enforcement to polling places to intimidate people. They're going to make up stuff with these voter rolls. There's nothing. I do not trust these people at all.
Right, and we shouldn't trust them. And in addition to ICE and the National Guard, you could have the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers show up as well, because we know he gave pardons to 1,500 insurrectionists that tried to overthrow the government in 2021, January 6th. So, yeah, this is more this is more of the authoritarian play that's taking place, and that's playing out. And what we have to realize is this is white fear. This is them fearing the African American vote. This is them fearing the vote of Latinos, etc. And this is a desperate play for them to maintain power. And as you've talked about your book, White Fear, they fear 2043 when it's projected that white people will become the minority population in this country. So, yeah, we have to get ready. We have to study Project 2025 and develop strategies to fight against this.
I need our people to understand what's going on here. I need them to understand that they are going to be attacking black people. Look, this national voter registration database, that's one thing. They are scared to death. Candace, they can't lose the House. They are so desperate. No. Again, they're gerrymandering seats. They're doing everything. They know the economy is tanking. It is tanking. Their own people are upset with them. They will do whatever. They will do whatever they can to cheat. And that's what their goal is. And people need to not go, well, I'm not quite sure, Roland. I think you're just hyping this thing up. No, I'm not.
Well, let's take a look. The midterms are coming up. What's that? 33 seats that are at stake. You're correct. They have something in mind because they need something to build on to say, listen, what we're doing is right, but this voter registration thing that's going on and that what we've been experiencing for all of our lives, it's wrong. And that is what they are setting up for. The other thing that they are doing by setting up this national voter registration list, again, under their umbrella, so we know how that's going to turn out, is that nobody's mentioning any more of Jeffrey Epstein, really, are they? I mean, it's really gone away. So you have to look at all of these things as distractors that they are. This is what they want us and all of the media to be talking about. And yes, it's happening and we need to be talking about. But there are other issues that are even bigger that we're not talking about. And that is also part of the strategy. They're going to use this in campaigning, and they're going to use this to deflect other things that we're going to find out about a year from now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Matt, we have to be extremely protective. These people, they are going to cheat. They're going to try to do everything. And remember what Donald Trump said in 2016? Black people, thank you for not voting. The only way to send these people a message is if we have, y'all want to do boots on the ground? Do boots on the ground to the ballot box. That's what you do, Matt.
It's precisely, especially because you can't trust the Supreme Court's going to get it right if it gets up there to them. It's purely a numbers game. So it's got to be boots on the ground to the ballot. And it can't be people who are saying, I don't love, one of the candidates, or I feel like they're not talking to me 100%. People have to not only be informed, but they have to say, ultimately, no politician is going to be perfect. But if I sit this out, we're going to have another Trump or another person trying to take his place, and we cannot abide that. I mean, we're in this position because people didn't vote the way they needed to. And it really baffles me that we as a country, or the people in this country who voted for Donald Trump twice to be our president. That should not happen in a rational world. And the way you stop that is people going to actually cast their vote. So people cannot be riding the couch in the midterms and in subsequent elections.
Michael.
Yeah, when I mentioned Project 2025, it's important for people to understand that 47% of Project 2025 policies have been implemented in approximately the first 8 months of Donald Trump's presidency, and that's tracked by Project 2025 tracker. Secondly, I think we have to change the language. It's not they are going to cheat, is they are cheating. What we just saw in Missouri today, okay, with the new maps, that is cheating. what we saw in Texas, what Republicans in Texas gerrymandering the maps mid-census, not waiting on the census to redraw district maps, that is cheating. So it's not that they are going to cheat, is that they are cheating, and they're going to do it even more so. The question is, how do African Americans organize to fight against this? Okay, because they this is an all-out assault. You've talked about defunding Black America, Roland. This is the worst assault on African Americans since going back to the modern-day civil rights movement.
It is, and we got to be prepared. Going to a break. We come back. We're going to talk with Tennessee State Representative Justin Pearson. Donald Trump has said he's now sending the National Guard into Memphis. Yes, Memphis. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. Immigrants lured off Texas streets and shipped to places like Martha's Vineyard and Washington, D.C. Believe it or not, we've seen it all before.
You people in the North, you're so sympathetic to Black people, you take them.
60 years ago, they called it the reverse freedom rides. Back then, Southern governors shipped Black people north with the false promise of jobs and a better life. It's a part of a well-known playbook being brought back to life. So what's next? That's next on the Black Table, a conversation with Dr. Gerald Horne about this issue of the reverse freedom rides, right here on the Black Star Network.
Black Star Network, what's happening? It's your man, Kim. And look, my new single, Rock With Me, is on fire. We debuted as the #1 most added and greatest gainer at R&B radio. So look, I want you to go check it out at musicbykim.com. Listen to it, download it, tell me what you think about it. Also, make sure you sign up to be a part of my community so we can stay connected. At Music by Kim on all social media platforms. Thank you for rocking with me. And keep love on the one.
'Cause I want you to rock with me. We live in a strange world till the darkness falls forever. Baby, let's be the dawn. When it feels like it's taking me over, you're making me stronger, my sweet love.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, we talk about the principles of mindset, strategy, and execution. This week, we're adding a fourth, faith. You're going to hear from a mother and daughter duo who are helping thousands of Black women build wealth, all through their faith.
You are more than you can ever imagine. Not just obtaining things to show that, but seeing yourself.
Making your faith work for you. That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
This week on The Other Side of Change.
Hurricane Katrina, 20 years later. Cannot believe that it's been more than 20 years since we saw Black people and Black communities across New Orleans and the South being failed by our government. But it's a harrowing lesson. We're going to unpack how race and class intersect in ways and how we need to talk about this government doing more for our communities. Again, you're watching The Other Side of Change, only on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen shooting.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate Black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
How you doing? My name is Mark Carey, and you're watching Roland Martin, unfiltered, deep into it, like pasteurized milk without the 2%. We getting deep. You want to turn that shit off? We're doing an interview, motherfucker.
Donald Trump is sending the National Guard to Memphis. The Tennessee governor, Governor Bill Lee, he's certainly happy with it. Well, the mayor of Memphis, Paul Young, said he did not ask for it. It's not his choice, but the decision has been made, so therefore he'll work with them. I don't understand that decision. He doesn't have to work with them. It's not like he doesn't have the same issues that Muriel Bowser has in Washington, D.C., where the feds can have control over Washington, D.C. Joining us right now is State Representative Justin Pearson. Glad to have you back on the show. In a second, we're going to play some of the mayor's news conference today. But this is clear. Donald Trump, red state governor. He's not going to oppose this. He got opposition from Governor Pritzker in Illinois, Democrat. Opposition from Gavin Newsom in California, Democrat. So now he's found his perfect foil, a red state governor who says, sure, come on in.
Absolutely. I mean, what we are seeing is, well, again, another significant abuse of power by this administration against a black community. The majority of residents and people who live in Memphis and Shelby County are black African-American folk. And the fact that he's targeted Los Angeles, the fact that he's targeted Washington, D.C., threatened to target Chicago is no coincidence. This is all a part of a ploy as it relates to authoritarianism and him being a dictator wannabe and enshrining white supremacy and its abuse of power in our communities. And so we have to speak up at minimum and resist what is happening, because this is only the start. We know this is not how it ends. Midterm elections are coming up. Presidential elections are coming up. So what happens when he deploys the National Guard into our communities during those times? And as you said, this is a state that's run by Republicans. This is by Republicans, and yet they aren't investing in the things that we need for them to. They're attacking and threatening our communities.
So, okay, and we're going to play a little bit in a second. So when the mayor says, I have no choice, okay, I don't understand that. Here's what I'm looking at. All right, so federal government, so Governor Lee, if y'all want to send in these troops and you want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, how about y'all simply cut a check for Memphis to be able to expand crime prevention efforts, and not just when it comes to police, but also when it comes to the other issues, economic issues that impact lowering crime, which is what Brandon Scott did in Maryland, which is what Brandon Johnson has done in Chicago.
You cannot have a conversation about crime in this country without talking about poverty. There is no way that you need to have a military occupation when you don't even have policies for policy intervention, prevention, and alleviation. And in this state, there has been an intentional effort not to do anything about eradicating poverty, and yet we give billions in tax cuts to corporations. Donald Trump, Bill Lee, Cameron Sexton, Rand McNally, none of these people care about Memphis or the people who live here. They don't care about ending crime. They don't care about any of those things. They're using this as a part of their political talking points as well as political power building for building an authoritarian regime and destroying our democracy. But if they actually wanted to help, they would give tens of billions of dollars to Memphis and Shelby County to eradicate poverty, to fix housing, to ensure kids are getting adequately educated. But they aren't trying to deal with the root causes of the very issue that they're talking about. Why? Because Bill Lee's been in office 8 years. He hasn't tried to do anything about poverty. He hasn't tried to do anything substantially about crime. Why? Because the National Rifle Association, the Tennessee Firearms Association, is in these folks' back pocket. And so they know that they're not going to put forward any laws to actually end the gun violence epidemic, actually prevent guns from being in the hands of people who otherwise should not have them. One of the reasons that I got expelled a couple of years ago was fighting against gun violence and demanding gun safety legislation. They don't want to address the problem, but they do want to use our black city as a pawn in this authoritarian game. And we do have a responsibility as elected officials to speak up and to stand up against this and to demand that we get the resources from the federal government financially and don't get a military occupation.
We reached out to the mayor's office. We got no response from the mayor's office, but we did pull this statement for social media. Mayor Paul Young said earlier this week, I was informed that the governor and the president were considering deploying the National Guard and other resources to Memphis. I'm committed to working to ensure any efforts strengthen our community and build on our progress. We agree with Governor Lee that effective support for Memphis comes through focused initiatives that deliver results like we have seen with the FBI, state troopers, and other law enforcement partnerships. What we need most are financial resources for intervention and prevention, additional patrol officers, and case support to strengthen MPD's investigations. Memphis is already making measurable progress in bringing down crime, and we support initiatives that help accelerate the pace of the work our officers, community partners, and residents are doing every day, unquote. I take it you never heard, I take it that Governor Bill Lee never consulted you. I take it that U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty and U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn never consulted you on any of this.
Absolutely not. They haven't consulted me, they haven't called, and they won't. They won't call because they actually don't want to address the root causes of the problems that we're dealing with. They only want to continue to perpetuate a narrative of criminality, black criminality. They only want to continue to perpetuate a narrative that black folks, you all can't govern yourselves, you all can't lead yourselves, you all do not have the solutions. And so the only thing that you will understand is having militarized men, women, and people in your community policing and taking on police powers that they otherwise should not have. This is detrimental not only to the idea of having a democracy, it's detrimental to the beliefs that many of us hold about the right to self-government. And years ago, that may have been a Republican saying or theme for their party, but it has to be our responsibility to protect and to defend ourselves from these overreaches and power by this administration and by these white supremacists who only want to use our cities, to use pain that we actually do experience and endure as talking points for them in the political sense. They haven't called me. They're not going to call me. But what they are going to hear is the voices of our community. They are going to hear other elected officials who have the courage to speak up and to actually say what needs to be said, stand up and fight back against what is happening in our community. We do want financial federal investment. That we do want. We don't want a military occupation. And for decades, we have been deprived of getting the resources that we need to actually deal with the eradication of poverty, to deal with the housing insecurity. 36% of children in Memphis are living in poverty. And this has been consistent for years. And we have yet to have leadership nationally, at the local, especially not at the state level, to actually address the root causes of the problem. And gun violence is the leading cause of death for kids under the age of 18. That doesn't happen by coincidence or accident. That is done by policies being passed at the state legislature that has made it easier for people to have access to firearms than it is for them to access a higher wage job. That's what we have to change. And that's what we have to articulate in this movement and in this.
And correct me if I'm wrong, after there was that mass shooting at a school, wasn't the first action of the Republican-controlled legislature to give gun manufacturers immunity?
One of the first bills they had was to give gun manufacturers immunity. Another bill that they had was to arm teachers. And then one of the first acts they took after that was my expulsion and my colleagues' expulsion. So they have never actually taken the issue of black pain seriously. They've never actually taken the issue of gun violence disproportionately hurting and harming our community in Memphis and Shelby County seriously. But now, all of a sudden, they're saying this overreach into our community, the National Guard coming into Memphis, is the solution without ever taking a single step to prevent the problem from happening, because they don't want for us to be successful. They don't want for our kids to grow up. They don't want for our community to succeed. They want to continue to have people in Tennessee, because we are Tennesseans, being mistreated, misused, and abused by the government. And this is the history of this state. This is the history of this country for its black residents, for its black citizens in particular. The state budget was $60 billion. Ask me how many billions came back to Memphis and Shelby County. They're not about investing enough. And that is the problem. We deserve and we demand investment in state government, federal government, but they've yet to do it.
Matt, you're first.
Situation where you don't have a Supreme Court that is going to enforce the sovereignty, essentially, of your local community. What funding or appropriations or other mechanism do you have to push back? Because before you answer, what I've really been struggling with is we really have a crisis of federalism in this country right now. You have a president who's far overstepping his bounds into realms that are supposed to be yours, right? Or other locally elected politicians' realms of influence. So what do you see as mechanisms to push back against that when you see the courts, at least the Supreme Court, is not holding the line the way it needs to?
Yeah, I mean, you have a couple of things. One, you have court cases that the administration has lost or is likely to lose when they tried to encroach in California, the threat in Maryland. And because those are democratically controlled states, they are more difficult for the president to send in National Guardsmen and National Guards folks as policing presences. But when you have a very weak, cowardice Bill Lee or Republican leaders like Cameron Sexton and the like in Tennessee, they're able to more easily corrupt them because they're Republicans in power and misuse their authority against their citizens, in this case, citizens in Memphis and Shelby County. So our response has to look at all legal means, and we're fortunate that there are a lot of lawyers helping our city government and leaders to understand what is our power, what are our leverages for power that we can ask for, what demands can we make to ensure that our citizens are safe. We are deeply worried and concerned about over-policing. We had the National Guard in Memphis after Dr. King was assassinated. We had the National Guard in Memphis in 1978 when the firefighters went on strike. It does not bode well for us and for our communities that already experience over-policing. We even lost in Memphis, Tennessee, Tyree Nichols at the hands of police officers. And so we know that having more policing is not the answer, that there are some legal avenues that we are learning so that we will be able to defend ourselves against the encroachment of the federal government into our community and to defend each and every one of our residents as best as we possibly can. But this is unprecedented territory for us in the 21st century. And so we're having to fight in this present moment.
Let's go to Candace.
So you mentioned Tyrese Nichols, and certainly these 3 of the 5 officers, they've been granted new trials because of something that the judge said. And I am wondering, what is the state of the police there in your estimation? Have there been any type of changes or anything that you've seen with boots on the ground with the police since the beating death?
Yeah. I mean, the death of Tyree Nichols is heartbreaking. His family has become family to me. Mama Wells, Mr. Wells, his sister. I've gotten very close with them, and they're some of the strongest, most powerful people that I've ever had the opportunity to meet. And what's happening with that trial in particular is heartbreaking and devastating. The fact that a new trial has been granted for these 3 officers who were each found guilty of some crime very recently until that was overturned because a judge said something that he should not have said, and it tainted the entire case, according to the judge who reviewed that appeal. And so there's a lot of heartbreak and pain and shock as it relates to the case of Tyre Nichols and elevating his life, and the case of the officers, I would say, who took his life away. When it comes to our policing in our city, we tried and did pass laws locally to protect our community. The state preempted our laws and tried to undo them. The chief of police has said that she's following those following those policies that were passed by the city council, I do believe. But the reality is we are still over-policed, particularly in poor, black, and brown communities more than anybody else. We're still more likely to die at the hands of police officers than any other demographic of people. And so we have not solved, again, all of the problems that need to be addressed as it relates to policing in our communities. And the National Guard, they are not a police force. They have no idea about community policing. They do not have the work, the role, the responsibility of policing communities. That's not their jobs. And so you're putting very ill-equipped and ill-trained people into an urban setting, a city setting as ours is, and giving them powers, potentially giving them powers and giving them authority that they should not otherwise have, which can only be detrimental for our community. And we have to fight and speak up and speak back now, because we shouldn't wait until something bad happens to call out what is going on, that we have a white supremacist president of the United States attacking a black community and weaponizing the military to entrench an authoritarian regime. And the consequences of that for our community are detrimental and could be dire. And so we need to speak about it now, so that if there are ways that we can prevent that and protect our citizens, protect our people, we're able to do that. And I know a lot of good community organizations are already working on Know Your Rights trainings, because we are going to have to protect ourselves. Memphis is going to protect Memphis. And that's the work and that's the responsibility right now.
Michael?
Representative Pearson, today Associated Press has an article about this, and they said that Donald Trump said on Friday that he decided to send troops into Memphis, Tennessee, after Union Pacific CEO Jim Vena urged him to do so earlier in the week to address crime in the city of Memphis, Tennessee. Now, this is at a time when Memphis has overall crime has hit a 25-year low. The first 8 months of 2025, and murders have hit a 6-year low as well. Do you know anything about this conversation? Have you heard anything about this? Number one. Number two, what type of investments would you like the federal government to make? We know $811 million in public safety and victim service grants have been cut by the Trump administration. So what type of investments would you like to see?
Yeah, I mean, it's a terrifying thing when a very wealthy person can meet with the President of the United States one time, and then a decision that impacts over 900,000 people in my city and county happens almost overnight and is announced on Fox and Friends. That's too much power that's being given overwhelmingly to wealthy white men in the United States of America. But in our city, we're even fighting Elon Musk and the Chamber of Commerce, Ted Townsend. It's the same principle. Wealthy white people being able to dictate what is good, what is necessary for our communities. And that isn't how you build safer communities, healthier communities, communities that are going to be sustainable into the future for future generations. And so I've heard of that conversation. It concerns me greatly because billionaires are running our government, and they're running it in the conversations that they're having. They're running it in the laws that they're passing, such as the big ugly bill that literally gave $4 trillion worth of wealth to rich people in this country and stole it from poorer people. Like this pattern is endemic and systemic in the way that this country has been operating, but particularly under this administration that doesn't care about poor people, doesn't care about black folks, Latino folks, Asian folks, doesn't care about anybody who is not a billionaire, who is not wealthy, who is not influential in the ways that they regard. And so it is a we problem. It's about us. It's about all of us. And whether you are a poor white person or not, you need to realize that just because they are stealing and coming after our rights today does not make you safe. It does not guarantee anything for you. And the erosion of democracy in our lives is the erosion of democracy in our entire political life. And what are the investments that we need? To your point, there's a recognition that hundreds of millions, billions of dollars that otherwise would have helped with violence intervention programs, that would have reduced the amount of people who are getting sick and don't have access to health care, or hungry and don't have access to food. All of those types of programs are being cut by this administration. They are doing things to make it harder for everybody to live. And yet they're blaming the consequences of their actions on majority black cities, on majority black leaders. This is part of what's immoral and unjust. And so what do we need, and what am I calling for? $10 billion of investment into Memphis and Shelby County to help us with housing. $10 billion of investment to help us with educating each and every one of our children so that they are at the right literacy level, when we know 2/3 of our children are graduating and they are not even reading at the grade level that they should. We need billions of dollars of investments that actually deal with the problem on the front end, not militarization, not over-policing, not a military occupation, but an intervention as it relates to financial investment for Memphis and Shelby County. That's what we should be demanding. That's what we should be speaking about. I'm not looking for us to partner with the National Guard. I'm looking for us to demand that the federal government give us our money back and invest in our community, because we are suffering in so many different ways. We have some of the folks who are struggling the most here. We have some of the highest levels of unemployment, some of the highest levels of people being unhoused. We've got some real challenges, but we need the federal government to do its job and get us more resources. And that's the job of our congressmen. That's the job of our city leaders. That's the job of the President of the United States. And if he would focus on that job, we wouldn't be talking about crime in so many different places.
All right. State Rep. Justin Pearson, man, we appreciate it. Keep up the good fight.
Hey, we're fighting together. Let's keep going.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, folks, going to a break. When we come back, we have got to talk about how white MAGA is losing their shit because one of their own was arrested for the murder of Charlie Kirk. We're going to tell you about Tyler Robinson, his family, where he went to school, and it's a whole lot of tweets and videos that are being deleted, taken down, and it's amazing how the tone has also shifted. Oh, we got a lot to unpack on right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Don't forget to support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Our goal between now and December 31st is to raise $1 million to support this show. If you want to contribute to the effort, please go. You want to use Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here, the QR code right there, bottom left-hand corner. That's for Cash App, credit card applications. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Checks and money orders, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037 7-0196. We'll be right back.
I'm Dr. Greg Carr, and coming up on The Next Black Table, we're speaking with Dr. Lucius T. Outlaw Jr., master teacher and philosopher. He takes us on his journey to discover and celebrate Black philosophy.
From my undergraduate years at Fisk all the way through my PhD, I was never in a philosophy class where I had a professor who was a person of African descent, nor a sign of text written by a person of African descent, ever.
How he pushed back at those who said there was no such thing and got us all thinking about what it means to be Black. That's on The Next Black Table, exclusively on the Black Star Network.
This week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're talking all things entrepreneurship. Whether you want to jump right in, take a leap of faith, or you've just been thinking about it for a while, we're having a one-on-one candid conversation with Dr. Tierney, our level up coach and YouTuber of the amazing Hey Sugar. So let's talk about entrepreneurship.
Before you jump out here, know that it is some work that goes into it. And not necessarily the work in the business itself, but some inner work.
That's this week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie on Black Star Network.
Now that Roland Martin is willing to give me the blueprint, hey, Cyrus, I need to go to Tyler Perry and get another blueprint because I need some green money. The only way I can do what I'm doing, I need to make some money. So you'll see me working with Roland. Matter of fact, it's the Roland Martin and Cheryl Underwood show. Well, should it be the Cheryl Underwood show and the Roland Martin show? Well, whatever show it's going to be, it's going to be good.
All right, folks, big news today. They announced in Utah that a suspect was arrested in the shooting death of Charlie Kirk, the right-wing provocateur who was gunned down while speaking at a university in Utah. Tyler Robinson is the young man's name. He was turned in by his father, former law enforcement, former sheriff, minister. He comes from a MAGA family. His grandmother's on record saying, I don't know anybody in this family who was a Democrat. And what's now we're hearing that, according to reports, that he was a groyper. That is a far right, Nick Fuentes, the racist, white supremacist, acknowledged white supremacist, anti-Semite. He apparently is a follower of him. Also, crazy deranged Laura Loomer. She's been deleting a lot of her tweets as well. A lot of her tweets dealing with Charlie Kirk as well. It has been an unbelievable day, folks. And just watching all of this stuff unfold, it's been unbelievable. There was also, of course, the news conference. This weird statement from Kash Patel. I don't know what the hell he was talking about. But check this out. So Nick Fuentes, now y'all need to understand, this dude had 200,000 people watching him live last night. He has cultivated a massive following, and he was highly critical of Charlie Kirk, attacking Charlie Kirk as not being a real Christian. The videos are amazing to see this whole back and forth. Oh, this is also the guy who had lunch with Donald Trump along with Kanye West at Mar-a-Lago. So just so y'all understand how all this is wrapped up. And what's crazy is, remember, they were blaming the left, calling for folks to be fired, all sorts of stuff. But it's amazing how their tone has totally shifted. Totally shifted. Now that a white guy, we tried to tell you. Remember, I told everybody, stop jumping to conclusions. Let's play it all out. No, the left, they're radicals, they're crazy, they're terrorists. What say you now? So, Fuentes, who was on the receiving end of a big New York Times article last week, realizing he's about to get a lot of heat for his views, he posted this video today.
This is a very delicate situation. This is a very delicate situation. I fear that this has set off a chain reaction. I pray to God there is no further violence. I pray to God that nobody else is hurt as a result of this. I hope that it stops here. It should stop here. To all of my followers, if you take up arms, I disavow you, I disown you in the strongest possible terms. That is not what we are about. And the same goes obviously for the other side. And I want to make that very clear. It would be a profound moral, political mistake for anybody to take the bait and to engage in any kind of reprisal, retaliation, revenge. Remember, we are the good side. And what makes us good is that we have Christ. What makes Christianity and Christ so different from the other religions is that our religion is based on the bearing of suffering for the sake of even those that persecute us. An overflowing of love, an overflowing of self-giving love, so much of it cannot be contained. An unconditional, absolute standard of love for all of God's children, even those that are misguided, even those that persecute us, even the most heinous among us. That is what makes us different. That is what makes us good. You think you're good? You're not. You are not good. I am not good. You are a man. I am a man. You are a sinner. I am a sinner. We cannot save ourselves. We cannot save this world. God can save us. God can save the world. And God saves us, and God saves the world by drawing all of us up onto the cross with him. And we join not just in his glory, but in his suffering. Real suffering, not imaginary, not a nice story, real suffering, real death, real destruction, real misery. We bear a cross like Christ bears a cross, like his disciples, like the martyrs, like the saints bear a cross. And you better get comfortable up there. Drink up. And you bear that cross not for your kin, not for yourself, not for your children, which are an extension of yourself. You bear that cross and that suffering. You drink from that chalice for your enemies.
Sounds pretty desperate to me, huh? Yeah, I thought so. Utah governor. He has been talking about how we need to bring folks together. Here's Utah Governor Spencer Cox. He was hoping the killer wasn't even American.
You know, this bad stuff happens. For 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I hoped for. Just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here. And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service every year.
And then you got the stupid Hall of Famer, Donald Trump Jr., who's an absolute idiot. Oh, this is what he had to say.
They realize they lost the debate entirely, so they have to resort to violence. And contrary to what we're seeing elsewhere and online, it is not going both ways. It is going one way. It's coming from those aligned with the Democrat Party. The hate has been fomented by those in the Democrat Party, and you can probably play hundreds of hours of those clips. It's coming from the media. Some of them are doing a quick course correction and probably scrub their social media feeds for all the things they've said about Charlie, myself, my father over the last few years. But you can't call someone who you disagree with or simply can't win an argument with a Nazi, a fascist, a dictator, a greatest threat to democracy in the history of civilization, and then pretend you had nothing to do with it when the more radical wing, and there does not seem to be all that much difference to me these days, takes up arms and tries to kill those they disagree with. It's not one way. It's not both ways. It is simply one way. And anyone who's saying otherwise, should be thrown off the air.
That's interesting, because that's what MAGA's now doing. And man, they are scrubbing left and right, y'all. Oh, let's take South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who's running for governor. This is Nancy yesterday before today's news.
This shit ends. Like, enough is enough. And now I have to deal with real safety concerns. It sounds like the shooter was a tranny or pro-tranny. And just because I want to protect women, that I'm worried about getting murdered? Are you fucking kidding me? It's out of control, and enough is enough. And I'm going to double down on this. I'm going to be more vigilant than ever. I'm going to be louder than I've ever been until this shit stops. It's got to stop. And all the security measures, we've taken many security measures leading up to this because of these lunatic trannies. But now, I mean, I have police posted outside of my offices in South Carolina. I have employees that are afraid to come to work. I have children who think they're going to get murdered at school. And so it's going to end. And you guys in the press need to be more responsible about this and actually be fair and cover the things that are happening. It's unbelievable what's happening in this country. And, the left and the Democrat Party has allowed this stuff to happen. And I'm fucking sick and tired of it.
Do you know who the shooter is?
No, but we've heard reports privately, and I guess it's being reported out now, some of the anti-fascist, pro-transgender things that were written either inside the rifle or on the ammunition. You might know better than I do. Do you know if they've identified
There's been nothing that has been put in court documents or sworn to at all.
Yeah, we know this is a political assassination, and any theory otherwise is just bullshit and a lie. So I hope that you guys will report on it honestly.
Congresswoman, could I...
That was yesterday. The Wall Street Journal ran that erroneous article talking about there were trans whatever the hell on the inside of the rifle. That was a bullshit story. So guess what Nancy Mace was tweeting today, y'all? Please show her tweet. Please show, because she had such righteous indignation and blaming the media, and you don't cover these things. And so, can we pull a tweet up, please? Okay. Give me a second, y'all. Nancy, y'all, was just full of herself. And she was tweeting out, about how we need to now pray for the shooter. Now, again, she was full of it yesterday. She had such vitriol yesterday. But Nancy sounds a little bit different today. Nancy said yesterday, time to go back to the death penalty. Now she tweets, we know Charlie Kirk would want us to pray for such an evil and lost individual like Tyler Robinson to find Jesus Christ. We will try to do the same. Matter of fact, it gets better. She said, we truly believe if Tyler Robinson had ever sat down across from Charlie, the great debater, the man of faith and grace he was, Tyler wouldn't have pulled the trigger. Wow. That is an incredibly different tone than Nancy yesterday. Ain't that grand, y'all? So I got more to show you, okay? Laura Loomer, who was ripping into Charlie Kirk. Now we know that Tyler Robinson apparently was following Laura Loomer on social media. So Loomer has been feverishly delete. Come on, pull up her tweet, please. Let's show you what poor little Laura was saying. They sent a trained sniper to assassinate Charlie Kirk while he was sitting next to a table of hats that said 47. You could be next. I hate to say it, but I have a sick feeling we'll be seeing more targeted assassinations. The left are terrorists. Today. Next, come on, y'all, next. It's time for the Trump administration. Now, this is also, you see September 10th. This is also September 10th, y'all. 2 days ago, the day of the shooting. It's time for the Trump administration to shut down, defund, and prosecute every single leftist organization. If Charlie Kirk dies from his injuries, his life cannot be in vain. We must shut these lunatic leftists down once and for all. The left is a national security threat. Don't we have another Laura Loomer post? Do we have another one? Okay, well, because here it says I had 3 of them. It says I had 3, so don't you have another one? My graph says I have 3 graphs. Okay. All right, y'all. Now, this is the same Laura Loomer, y'all, who was... Pull it up, please. So here you have Laura Loomer. Okay. Again, y'all, these people, you gotta, they just make up stuff. But this is Laura Loomer law before the shooting, y'all. Oh, by the way, she deleted this post. I don't ever want to hear Charlie Kirk claim he is pro-Trump ever again. After this weekend, I say he has revealed himself as political opportunist, and I have had a front row seat to witness the mental gymnastics these last 10 years. Lately, Charlie has decided to behave like a charlatan, claiming to be pro-Trump one day while he stabs Trump in the back the next. TPUSA was only able to thrive thanks to the generosity of President Trump. On the one-year anniversary of the assassination attempt of Trump's life, Charlie hosted comic Dave Smith at TPUSA's SAS conference, where Dave Smith was able to speak to a bunch of conservative youth at an organization that claims to be pro-Trump. 3 weeks ago, Dave Smith called for President Trump to be impeached and removed from office, even over his decision to blow up Iran's nuclear facilities. Charlie played both sides of the Iran issue on his show, as we all saw, because he wants to play to both sides of the aisle. The honorable thing to do is to have a position and actually defend it to the death instead of flip-flopping. That was, of course, posted before he was shot and killed. But then the same Laura Loomer came back, and now she was calling for things to change. Yeah, same one. So they're losing it. Let's see here. Who else did I have? Who else shall I shall bring up? Let's see here. Okay, got some other tweets. Because again, y'all, it has been hilarious to watch these people because they have just been going left and right. Oh, Elon Musk, he tweeted, "The left is the party of murder." But now we know it wasn't the left. Oh, how about crackpot James Woods, the actor, MAGA, nutcase? It's not gun violence, it's Democrat violence. Then he tweeted, "Dear leftists, we can have a conversation or a civil war. One more shot from your side and you will not get this choice again." Then James Woods posted something. Placing the blame of Charlie Kirk being killed at the feet of Democrats.
Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
This is what kicking the shit out of fascism looks like.
Try to prevent the spread of the lawlessness and the fascist chaos that's been unleashed against us.
So when we say Donald Trump is a fascist, fascism, a huge component of fascism is uniting racism, bigotry, a form of racist nationalism.
We are now living in a fascist dictatorship.
And we are worried about potential rise of fascism in this country. We're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and potentially fascist form of government.
Not only to roll over to Donald Trump's will, but to roll over our democracy and allow him to take over this country as a fascist dictator.
When fascism isn't just coming, it's already here.
The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, said, "No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core."
But all those were lies, y'all. All of these are lies. And now they are now scurrying. They're scurrying. They're literally on social media deleting posts. They're changing their tune. They were calling for people to be fired. Two sources say that Pete Hegseth has been saying, fine any member of the military who tweeted anything negative about Charlie Kirk so they can be punished. You got crazy-ass Louisiana Congressman Clay Higgins talking about, that's right, we will cancel anybody. We're going after anybody who say anything negative about Charlie Kirk. But they're now trying to figure out. Oh, I love the latest. He was radicalized when he went to college. He was there for 1 semester. These people are nuts. And what they did was, it was a total rush to judgment from the moment it happens. And what did I tell y'all? Chill out. Allow this thing to progress. Let's find the truth. No! Everybody. Time magazine, political violence. They all going. Now we know it was one of their own. HBCUs getting bomb threats. We had nothing to do with this. White dude at a white college in a white state gets shot by a white guy. That's white on white violence. They were calling for civil war. Jesse Waters was foaming at the mouth. We're going to take these people. Now it's, matter of fact, y'all, control room, I need y'all right now, pull up the New York Post website. I want to show y'all how white people, white conservatives, what they do when somebody white, one of their own, does something. Oh, y'all going to love this here. This right now is on the front page of the New York Post. Y'all going to love this. Losing faith. They got a photo of Tyler smiling. A photo of him smiling with his mom and dad and his 2 brothers. Tyler Robinson was raised Mormon and allegedly killed Charlie Kirk moments after influencer praised the church. Now, y'all know damn well, if this the same New York Post, man, if y'all scroll down, they will have, if somebody black kills somebody, oh my God, they are going to have all kind of crazy stuff. Matter of fact, go down. Y'all gonna see an article. Cold-blooded maniac who cops say killed, burned elderly New York City couple inside their own home makes chilling admission. I hope y'all see. Do y'all see the juxtaposition? Y'all see this photo of the black guy who allegedly killed a white couple? Maniac who cops say killed, burned elderly New York City couple inside their own home makes chilling admission. But the murderous white guy, oh my God, he losing faith. He lost his faith. This shows you how shameful and despicable these people are, Candace. I mean, to watch this, now it's Charlie would have prayed with him. Oh, he would have held his hand. If only they could have prayed together. They were foaming at the mouth 24 hours ago. But now, all of a sudden, Candace, one of their own, again, daddy, sheriff, gun lover, daddy, mama is scrubbing her Facebook page. Got photos on the Facebook page of them holding guns and all kind of stuff. So we got a gun-loving, MAGA, Trump-supporting white boy from a Donald Trump, MAGA, gun-loving family that killed a Donald Trump, MAGA, gun-loving white guy in Charlie Kirk. That's white-on-white crime.
And don't forget, his mother said that he was the ideal model student. And, you know, when I look at this and I think about what went on years ago, because the authorities in Utah said that they received 7,000 tips. They hadn't received this many tips since the Boston Marathon bombing. And what happened with that bombing? The same thing that you're talking about. They put two people on the front of the newspaper, and then they had to pay millions of dollars. I think it was the Daily News or the Post had to pay millions of dollars because they got it wrong, because of the way that they portrayed him. The same way that they're portraying this young man now as if nothing is wrong. And that is what is the matter with journalism today. I think all of this is wrapped up in journalism. All of it's wrapped up in the media, how we actually portray the people who did what they did and try to find some truth in it, like people like us on the other side. It is very difficult to discern because everybody is out there giving their opinions. We have to be smarter consumers, know that a lot of people who are out there, who are posting, who are saying things, they're doing this for just pure entertainment. What that woman said about the transgender and stuff that was written on the bullets, that was all made up. Look at Fuentes, that the young man that you showed a bite. He's been kicked off several social media platforms because of hate speech. But now he's talking about Jesus on the cross. Roland, I'm sorry. I just cannot even take some of these people seriously because I think in their heart of hearts, in terms of what they posted and all that you've gone through, they don't take themselves seriously. They're really kind of like acting to me. I mean, that's what I see. They're putting on a performance in order to eventually get what they want, which is vote, to keep people in the middle of chaos and to continue to divide people. That is what is going on now. That's what we see playing out in the media. And actually, this is what we've always seen. Nothing new, nothing has changed. It's just that now we have a digital record of everything that we've thought and everything that, we think is happening, and we now have to go to correct ourselves. But this has been happening for decades. Nothing new.
Yeah, and what's crazy here, Michael, all these media people are getting exposed because what they've been doing is, oh my God, lionizing Charlie Kirk. Again, Christian father, Fox News is planning a primetime special, all this sort of stuff. And in fact, check this out. So NBC, now remember, they fired Matthew Dowd, the commentator, and I'm going to tell you what he said in a second. But NBC, the leadership of NBC, and we're talking Brian Roberts, Mike Kavanaugh, and Mark Lazarus. This is what they sent to all of the employees at Comcast, NBC Universal. This is the entire company. The tragic loss of Charlie Kirk, a 31-year-old father, husband, and advocate for open debate, whose faith was important to him, reminds us of the fragility of life and the urgent need for unity in our nation. Our hearts are heavy as his passing leaves a grieving family and a country grappling with division. There's no place for violence or hate in our society. You may have seen that MSNBC recently ended its association with a contributor who made an unacceptable and insensitive comment about this horrific event. That coverage was at odds with fostering civil dialogue and being willing to listen to the points of view of those who have differing opinions. We should be able to disagree robustly and passionately, but ultimately with respect. We need to do better. Charlie Kirk believed that when people stop talking, really bad stuff starts. Regardless of whether you agree with his political views, his words and actions underscore the urgency to maintain a respectful exchange of ideas, a principle we must champion. We believe in the power of communication to bring us together. Today, that belief feels more vital than ever. Something essential has fractured in our public discourse. And as a company that values the power of information, we have a responsibility to help mend it. As employees, we ask you to embody our values in your work and communities. We should engage with respect, listen, and treat people with kindness. Michael, I'm sorry, did Brian Roberts, Mike Kavanaugh, or Mike Lazarus hear or read any of the things that Charlie Kirk said about black women? About black
I was about to go there.
About Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? I mean, that's what they said, respect and treat people with kindness. We have been seeing the last 48 hours. A lot of folks post a lot of those comments. So imagine if you are a black, Latino, Asian American woman working for NBC, Comcast, Universal, how you would feel when the leadership sends that out. And then talking about him, his faith was important to him. But clearly, the stuff he said about people that look like us clearly didn't matter to these NBC, Comcast executives.
Yeah, you know, NBC, Comcast, and I know MSNBC has spun off from NBC, but you still have the same mentality running MSNBC with Rebecca Cutler, who fired.
No. Keep in mind. Keep in mind. No. Hold up, Michael. Keep in mind. Mark Lazarus, who's running that other company, he was on this email. So go ahead. He was one of the. Yeah. Mark Lazarus is on the email.
Right. But, okay, so I was on Carl Nelson's show yesterday, WOL out of Baltimore, talking about this. And when you read some of Charlie Kirk's comments about intelligent, educated, accomplished black women, and let's be clear, the people, college dropouts like Charlie Kirk are intimidated by intelligent, educated African Americans, especially African American women. He said that you do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. He said you had to go steal a white person's slot to be taken somewhat seriously. He's talking about them being beneficiaries of affirmative action, but he doesn't want to talk about the racism that caused affirmative action to have to be created in the first place. This whole thing, what you just showed from the New York Post, I think that was the New York Post you were showing those headlines from. That reminds me of an article from Huffington Post from 2014 called "When the Media Treats White Suspects and Killers Better Than Black Victims." And what this whole article does is it shows how when a white person goes and kills somebody or is a mass murderer, the media goes out of their way to show how it's so much out of their character. We're so surprised. He was a good engineer, things like this. But when it's an African American who is the victim of violence, they make it seem like they brought it on themselves. They go all back into their history, you know, and they had a drug problem and things of this nature. So that's what that's showing. But this is, you know, this is MAGA being exposed for what they are. Okay, and this ain't Christianity. This is white Christian nationalism. Let's be very clear. You know this, Roland. This is white Christian nationalism. They have no sympathy for African Americans. They have no sympathy for immigrants, things of this nature. And then when I saw Governor Cox say he was hoping it was not one of us, he was hoping possibly it was somebody from another country. Now I know he has been working even before this to bring down the tone of political rhetoric. And he's been working with the governor of Colorado. But some people may mistake that for saying, oh, you were hoping this was an immigrant who did this shooting? Because if it was, what would happen then? How would this explode? How would this explode? How would this be used if it was an immigrant who did this?
I mean, Matt, that's what's so crazy. They literally are disappointed. I can't believe it was one of us. They are shocked. They are despondent that a Mormon, a MAGA Republican, gun-loving Mormon would shoot Charlie Kirk. They're just like, we can't believe this. We can't. And I love that people talk about Charlie. Charlie would have told him about Jesus. Nancy Mace, he's Mormon. And he got shot at the largest university in Utah, which is run by Mormons.
Look, hate is the heuristic. And what's so interesting about this is what you highlighted in talking about Laura Loomer and Nick Fuentes and even Nancy Mace is this is political violence, because what this is you have a person who assassinated him because he didn't think he was conservative enough. And that's what I think is one of the lost parts of this conversation is there's not a discussion of the fact that if you foment hate and you blame the other side for all the ills, I mean, not only do you have the historical backdrop of exactly what happened in Nazi Germany and other places around the world where somebody was scapegoated and then it turned into, mass genocide, right, or mass casualty. But what you have here is you have people who are basically on the same side, if you will, who are so enraged by hate and so invigorated by the hate that they're killing each other because they think the other person is not the embodiment of who they say they are. I mean, when you started with those tweets about Laura Loomer, it's exactly what she was saying about Charlie Kirk, that he wasn't truly who he said he was. And that's what makes this particularly problematic and also interesting to an extent, because they jumped immediately to it's the leftist, right? That's the bell we ring every time we want to galvanize this base and we want to foment people saying, hey, your country's being stolen from you. Your whiteness affords you a greater life than what you have now. And that black guy down the street is the one who's stolen it from you, right? So they're already kind of in that little cesspool. And what happens here when you have Charlie Kirk, who is being lionized despite saying some abhorrent things during the course of his time on Earth, what you have is people who are trying to out-conservative each other. That's exactly what happened here. And you're never going to see that angle of the conversation because it doesn't meet the narrative. The narrative is it's the left that's doing it. The narrative is it's, Nancy Mace talking about transgender people and these other things where there's no evidence whatsoever for that, is because that's the tone they strike every time. It's always the other that is the group that is to whom the ill should be attributed, the reason for the ills. So that's what I see here. This is political violence, but it's political violence on the same side of the aisle from people who are trying to out-conservative each other. And his life was taken because this young man didn't think he was conservative enough. And that is the part of the conversation we're not hearing, because it's not about the truth.
Yeah, now I haven't. Now I saw that. Now hold on. I saw that earlier. I have not seen that confirmed. I saw someone posting that. I saw that being bandied about. We have not seen that confirmed. So we do know that this Groyper community, Candace, I don't know if you've been looking up these folks. It can explain to the people, but this is the Nick Fuentes group. This is the far. I mean, Charlie Kirk was already far right. These people were right of him. Fuentes, an acknowledged racist, an acknowledged anti-Semite. I mean, he is a virulent racist, has a huge following. They felt Charlie Kirk was a fraud.
Is right in that when we're talking about conservatives, I like what Matt said, conservatives trying to out-conservative the next person, because these, what are they, grow fights, you said? These are the ones who think that the whole white race is being displaced for the worst of human mankind, and that they're the only group that should actually exist and lead the world. That's basically what they believe. So they're really kind of smashing the belief system and values of every other race on the planet besides white people. So if you think about anything within that spectrum, that's what they believe. So that really is, kind of out conservating the conservatives that are out there. But, it reminds me of something, people really don't understand that when they get online, they bait people to do things. And you have people who get online for one reason, and I'm not necessarily talking about Charlie Kirk. It could be anybody that you've played tonight. Get online to get the attention that they want. And you've got other people on the other side try to out-attention you to get your attention. And this is the ultimate way that Tyler Robinson got attention. He said, you know what, I'm going offline and I'm going to do something in real time. And now he's getting the most attention. And that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted all of us to be talking about him right now. He said, I'm going to outdo all of you. I'm going to turn over the menu. You know, I was watching that Charlie Sheen documentary, and he was talking about how he went from women to men because he took crack. And he said he turned over the menu to men. He was like, anything else? That's how I feel about this young man. He was like, what can I do? Is there anything else I can do to out-conservative the conservatives that are out there? And actually, he did it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's sitting somewhere in that jail cell and he's saying, I did it. I got exactly what I wanted. Everyone's talking about me. I reached my goal. And anything that you're doing on social media right now, I've just outdone.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, just watching these people. I mean, they literally are losing it. And if y'all have, so that idiot Dinesh D'Souza, felon, so he just said, like, this is their new thing. So now here's their new thing, y'all. Tyler Robinson is every conservative parent's worst nightmare. Send your kid to college where he is radicalized into a violent anti-fascist by the sly, scheming leftist professors. We need to put radical academia on trial along with its cherished product, Tyler Robinson. Y'all, the boy went to that university for one semester. And then, let me find it. Then apparently he was studying engineering. He was some apprentice something, some technical school. Like, these people are insane. They really are insane. They are grasping at anything what they cannot fathom. And the reason they can't deal with this, Matt, is because they don't even want to acknowledge those white domestic terrorists on January 6th. They refuse to acknowledge that there are nutcases, there are people who are violent on the right, and in their minds, even that idiot Eric Trump was on social, did some interview going, no bullets are coming from us, only the other side. Boy, put the drugs down, Matt.
I mean, that's because the truth doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. All that matters is the soundbite. And I think Candace was getting right at that, as she always does. And, you know, it's about wanting to get the vote, wanting to get that further cadre of people who are hanging on your every word every time you post a YouTube video. It's not about the truth. And none of these people have to ever be accountable because nobody ever calls them out. Now, what's interesting, back to my point earlier, is the cannibalism you're seeing right now, where they're eating each other because they're trying to out-conservative the other person. And I'm no true political philosopher, but it stands to reason that a true conservative would be against fascism, right? Would be against any government that is so large and so authoritarian that it's trampling on the rights of the individual, especially if it becomes an enormous government. But the point is, Dinesh D'Souza is not talking about that. He's just hitting the talking points, because all this is about is hitting the same tone every time. The leftists, those other people, those people who don't deserve the life you want, have the life you want because they've stolen it from you. And the more you say that, the more you strike that tone, then it doesn't matter if there's any truth to it. All that matters is how you make people feel. And that's fomenting anger in them because they're unhappy with their own lives and they want to outsource the reason for that, right? Not looking at themselves, but saying it's somebody down the road, it's that guy's fault. And because it's his fault, he's going to be the one that I point the finger at. That's all this comes down to. It isn't about the truth at all.
You know, in fact, Michael, you know, on the same day Charlie Kirk was shot, there was a shooting at a Colorado school. 3 people were shot, and Denver Post is now reporting that it was a rabid anti-Semite and white supremacist who really adored the Columbine shooters. And his name was Desmond Holly. His social media accounts were littered with references to mass shootings and anti-Semitic views. The sheriff's office spokeswoman Jackie Kelly said Holly was radicalized through an extremist network. And in a photo posted to TikTok, Holly can be seen in a black T-shirt with the word wrath emblazoned in red, a reference to the shirt that Columbine shooter Dylan Klebold wore. His accounts are littered with Holocaust denialism, which, of course, is pushed by folks like Nick Fuentes. One recent account appears to have been in reference to a prominent white supremacist slogan, according to the Denver Post. His accounts included additional anti-Semitic videos as well as videos loving Nazi uniforms, and on and on and on. That's the other shooting that happened that day. A crazed, deranged white boy on the right. For all these folk who keep talking about black-on-black crime, and that's all, Charlie Kirk's last 24 hours of his Twitter feed was all about that whole deal. I mean, these people are going on and on and on, and here they are. Here they are. Like, we have a mass shooting on the same day Charlie Kirk got shot. Two white boys, heterosexual, not transgender.
Yeah, where's Nancy Mace now? Yeah, you know, Roland. Yeah, so this is really deep. Now, first of all, after the shooting in Utah, is Donald Trump going to send the National Guard into Utah, to deal with the crime problem and deal with the murders? I'm just curious. But we have to understand these people are grifters. Nancy Mace, Nick Fuentes, all of them. These are grifters. Okay, and when you look at Dinesh D'Souza, the social media post from him trying to blame a college for radicalizing Tyler Robinson. Now, he went for one semester in 2021, pre-engineering major. But remember back in 2016 when Donald Trump said he loves the uneducated? The reason why they love the uneducated is because they can continue to manipulate them. And they can continue to point to other people and say, that's the problem. That's why your Medicaid is being taken. Oh, we're trying to get rid of the undocumented immigrants on Medicaid. So we're going to kick these people off. That's why you're losing your job. OK, this is what they're doing. And you mentioned January 6th, because I was going to mention this the first time around. You know, where was all the praying and talking about love and Jesus and forgiveness on January 6th? I ain't see any of that. When they were attacking police officers and assaulted over 140 police officers. A lot of these people act like January 6th did not take place. Act like that wasn't political violence. You know, they say the political violence is coming from the left. We've never done anything like that. Attack the U.S. Capitol, try to overthrow the government. These people are crazy. These people are crazy. And they're going to continue to fight one another. And African Americans need to step back and let them fight each other.
All I'm saying, y'all, more details are going to come out about Tyler Robinson, and it's not going to be good for the right wing. It's not going to be good for them at all. And you know what? Y'all can't blame black people. Y'all can't blame the left. Y'all can't blame trans. Y'all can't blame feminists. Y'all can't blame. You're going to have to get that big-ass mirror and look at yourselves and look at, again, let me remind people, they're calling this guy a groyper. That's Nick Fuentes' group. This is the same Nick Fuentes who Kanye West took to eat a meal with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. These people are eating their own, and they're losing it because they can't blame it on the left. Because there's nothing about Tyler Robinson that yells Democrat, progressive. And now they're trying to spin it, he was radicalized in college. Nope, that dog just ain't gonna hunt. Let me thank my panel, Candace, Matt, Michael, for being on today's show. Thank you so very much. Folks, I'm going to go to a break. We come back. I'm going to chat with Roland Parrish, Black McDonald's operator, as well as a philanthropist here in Dallas. Held a celebrity golf tournament today. Talked about black business and giving back. That's next. Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
Black Star Network, what's happening? It's your man, Kim. And look, my new single, Rock With Me, is on fire. We debuted as the #1 most added and greatest gainer at R&B radio. So look, I want you to go check it out at musicbykim.com. Listen to it, download it, tell me what you think about it. Also, make sure you sign up to be a part of my community so we can stay connected. At Music by Kim on all social media platforms. Thank you for rocking with me. And keep love on the one.
'Cause I want you to rock with me. We live in a strange world till the darkness falls forever. Baby, let's be the dawn. When it feels like it's taking me over, you're making me stronger, my sweet love.
Hey, this is Motown recording artist Kim. You are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. That boy, he always unfiltered though. I ain't never known him to be filtered. Is there another way to experience Roland Martin than to be unfiltered? Of course he's unfiltered. Would you expect anything less? Watch what happens next.
Folks, I'm here in Dallas where Roland Parrish, who has been a longtime black McDonald's owner-operator, held his annual golf tournament benefiting his Parrish Family Foundation charity, supporting a lot of local efforts here in Dallas. We talked about that, talked about the importance of being a black business owner. Here is our conversation. All right, folks, I'm here in Dallas for the Roland Parrish Celebrity Golf Tournament. That's why I'm hanging here. And this is the man himself. First of all, great name.
Great, outstanding.
Outstanding name.
That's
outstanding
right.
name. And first off, for the folks, we'll get to the foundation. But we're playing, so tell everybody where we're playing.
We're playing at the Golf Club of Dallas. This used to be the place in like last century, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. This is where the PGA played. This is where the PGA, this was the #1 club in Dallas.
Okay, but let's be real clear. They played here. We couldn't play here.
Right.
And in fact, Coma Cottrell, founder of Proline, always told the famous story. He told me this. So he bought a house here, right off the course, and they came to him to let him know that wasn't no black people allowed. But there was a brother who worked at the course who made some great barbecue. So if he wanted some great barbecue, he could get with his brother to get some barbecue. And Como was like, I don't give a damn about playing golf with y'all. And so he always told that story. And so now to know that story and to know the history and to now know that this course is black owned, that says something.
Hey, it says a lot. And just to let you know, I read my history on Coma Cottrell, a man who started, I think he was a teenager, he started selling chickens or something. He was in California, how he came to Dallas, became a part owner of the Texas Rangers, in addition to his, I think he was one of the Afro-Sheen, Proline, he was something.
Well, he was Proline. So he was the founder of Proline. So all y'all remember the Jerry Curl?
That's right.
That was Coma Cottrell.
That was Coma Cottrell.
And a huge, and he was the one responsible for moving Bishop College from Waco to Dallas.
Correct.
And so, again, so it was interesting when they told me about the tournament, about you guys buying it. It was purchased when?
About two, 3 years ago by Pastor Tony Evans, formerly of Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, black owned. And so we wanted to keep it in the community. In fact, Senator Royce West has told me last year, he said, you keep it in the community. We keep it real, we sell out. We could probably go somewhere else and get more cards, but hey, look at this, beautiful. It's beautiful, black owned. And I'm pro-black business. I mean, I'm just pro-black business, man. I mean, can I throw a stat out?
Yeah, it's my show. Okay. I ain't got to ask nobody.
So $100, $1,000 spent in the black community, spent in the Anglo community will last about 16 days. In the Jewish community, about 19 days. In the Asian community, 30 days. $100 or $1,000 spent retail in the black community is 6 hours. 6 hours. Maggie Anderson's book, Our Black Year, that's where I got the stat from. And so we've got to build black business. I mean, that's how we're going to get equity and equality and enjoy the American dream.
But we also talk about building black business. What I am always talking about is we have to build black business capacity. You know, when there were 2.9 million black-owned businesses, this is pre-COVID, 2.8 million only had one employee.
Right.
Doing an average revenue less than $100,000.
Correct.
And I said, look, that's sole proprietors. I said, and so the thing I'm always talking about is capacity, and how do we do that? For you, when did you first start?
I started in 1989. In fact, Roland, I opened on Juneteenth, 1989, and I was so busy. But I mean, not because we were doing such big business. You know, you open up a business, you know, they're calling you from everywhere, rolling this, rolling that, rolling this. I didn't even realize it was Juneteenth. And I started a logo some years later, and I put at the bottom, open Juneteenth, 1989. And I think it was an omen. I think I was sent to the hood. If people know about Pleasant Grove, if you're a Dallas area, it was a McDonald's.
Gotcha. That was your first one.
First one. And it was in a black neighborhood, but it was the kind of neighborhood I grew up in Gary and Hammond, Indiana. And so I fit in with the people. I always say, I learned the preachers, the principals, the teachers.
There you go.
The gang leaders, the drug dealers, and I was respected because I was trying to do things in the community. I brought Ronald McDonald to the hood, to the schools. And my customers would come in and say thank you. Because the kids came in and said, we saw Ronald McDonald today. What? We saw Ronald McDonald? He came to your school? Yeah. Why? Mr. McDonald's did it. I was Mr. McDonald. I was Mr. McDonald's. But
And so you started that first one in June 1989 and go on to have, you had what, 27?
I peaked at 27, right. And the thing is, I just talked to a young guy here. He just bought 2 restaurants. He just got a McDonald's system. And I told him, hey, one, live beneath your means. Be good to your people. Your people are your greatest asset. Yep. Develop an incentive program for them and give back to the community. You just can't take out of the community. You got to put something back in the community. And the verse I use, the pillar of my organization, both the business and the charity, is Luke 12:48. To whom much is given, much is required.
And you've had a peak of, I mean, how many employees under you?
1,400 at max. That's a lot.
That's a whole lot. And one of the things that I'm always, you said something that's important. You said live below your means. And what I'm always trying to explain to people is I'm not interested in flossing. I'm not interested in flashing. I said because the goal is not to have a business for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but to have longevity. Because if business go out of business, that's employees, that's families, that's people can't send their kids to college. And so my whole deal is, it's like we had a discussion about Uncle Nearest and Pinky Coldham. I said, listen, first rule, watch the money. Second rule, watch the person who watched the money.
Okay.
I said that's my first rule. And I just tell people, I said I don't give a damn about the biggest car, the biggest house, whatever. I said it's really, what are you building? You're building something that's people oriented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you mention that quote, it reminds me of a book, Succeeding Against Odds by Johnny Johnson. And when he started his first business, which is his Negro Digest, the bookkeeper's office was next to his office. And then when he moved to Michigan Avenue, you know, Ebony Jet, big time on Michigan Avenue in Chicago, she was not a treasurer, but her office was next to his.
Right.
When I worked for Exxon Corporation, 800 Bell Avenue, the U.S. headquarters, the executives were on the 42nd floor, the Treasury Department was on the 41st floor. So what I do is every morning, ever since I opened in 1989, it first started with the phone to get the balance.
Right.
And then it moved to the ATM to go get the balance.
Right.
And now it's with the computer.
Right.
Because I check my balances, not because I love money, but you got to manage the money.
So listen, I have with my bank, there are 5 accounts.
Okay.
One personal, 4 business. I don't even look at personal. My wife pay bills. I don't even look, but I know exactly what's in those other 4.
Right.
And I'm just like you every day. Hold up. What's that dip? Okay, I see what was paid. I mean, I don't play that.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I say, look, I watch the expenses like a hawk, and just like my bookkeeper, they send me, I said, listen, y'all can send me all these spreadsheets and explain to me how it works. I said, I believe in inflow, outflow. How much we spend meaning every month I got to know how much I got to make every month. Oh, I keep it real simple.
Hey man, that's another thing that it's about, simple, because there's probably like 40 line items on a profit and loss statement, and the two that I really tell my people to manage the most, because they're over 60% of your expenses, is food and labor. Your food costs, paper costs, and your labor. And I said, if we'll manage those, we'll be okay. You know, you got to treat your customers right. There's a lot of rules of the business, but I don't want to make it complicated where we go into depth into all 50 line items. It's like, hey, these are the two major. Let's make sure we can work those.
And obviously, that's the business side of what you're doing, but what you're doing on the community side is critically important as well. So talk about this foundation and how you really are about connecting with the community, the schools. Talk about the schools that you also supported when we began the program today.
Okay, the first thing I did was shout out to Dr. Harry Robinson. He was the founder of the Dallas African American Museum. And I remember he came to me, the Black Sports Hall of Fame, where they recognize sports figures who either grew up in Texas, born in Texas, or played in Texas. And it was either Frito-Lay or Pepsi pulled away at the last minute. Now, this is a Fortune 500 company. Right. The sponsorship for the actual inductees, they pulled. And he came to me, Roland. I said, Dr. Robinson, I said, I think I had maybe like 8 restaurants. I said, I can't afford that. He gave me a layaway plan. So I've been doing that now for like 15 years. That was my first time I branched outside of Pleasant Grove.
So he said, you can contribute this, but you can just pay on it.
Yeah, pay on it. Hey. So if any of you out there remember layaway, that's what he did. Right. And so that really started like moving outside of Pleasant Grove, and then things would fall in my lap. Something really relevant. Shakara Richardson, Olympic star, sprinter. Track is heavy. Summer track is heavy in Dallas. Right. But you see the kids on the corner with the cups by the stoplights collecting money so they could send people to the national championships. And I just said, hey guys, pick 10 teams from the southern sector. Let me give them $5,000 apiece. That's $50,000. Now we ended up having a track meet and having a lot of fun, but we did that. Chris Bosh story. Chris Bosh? Yep. Played with LeBron. So Chris Bosh and Lincoln won the national championship somewhere around 2002. I get a phone call down in Pleasant Grove. Mrs. Bosh is mine. Can we have a car wash? I was like, Mrs. Bosh, if you were up in North Dallas, boom, you would not have to have a car wash. So what we did was basically I got 5 businessmen to give $2,000 apiece, and we got the team to sign basketballs. Now they've got basketballs with Chris Bosh's name, because he was one of the team members, and so 5 basketballs, $2,000 apiece, and the rings only cost $10,000. And so you can think of ways.
The car wash to get them championship rings. That's what it's for.
Right. But instead of doing a car wash, it's like you and the moms don't have to come out here and wash cars. Give us 10 basketballs and signatures. We'll give you $10,000, and we did it the right way. And so they got rings.
But see, this is the point that I explain to people who really don't understand. When I hear people, they talk about, D9, Kool-Aid, we don't know what y'all doing. I'm like, no, y'all have no idea how many people are supporting community-based organizations every single day. When we talk about black-owned businesses doing those very things, and you're right, it's not major corporations. Major corporations are not cutting those checks. And so our community, the backbone of our community, has been these small, mid-sized business owners doing those very things. That and then that of course is paying it forward for that next generation.
Right, you're correct. And really, small businesses are the backbone of our society. Even if when you move away from black business, and in black businesses, there's a stat something like 2/3 of all businesses, small businesses, fail in the first year, and then another half fail in the first 5 years. So I'm very appreciative to God. Of course, blue-collar work ethic, luck, good parents, good genes, knowing the financial part of the business, I've been able to flourish. And with that, Malachi, Old Testament 3:10, it's like I want to give back. I want to make sure we take care of the orphans, the widows, the underserved. And he says he'll pour you out a blessing that you won't have room to receive. And Roland, I got to tell you, man, there's been some awards words and blessings that are showered upon me. And I know it's Malachi 3:10. I know it's Malachi 3:10. So we're going to keep on doing it.
Well,
keep on doing it.
And so if there are people, now Grant, it's the Parish Family Foundation, but if there's somebody out there who wants to support the foundation work, where do they go?
Yeah, and you know what? I'll give this. If you want, if you really feel so moved, you could go to our website, Parish Family Foundation. It's actually the parishfoundation.org, and it's really a fun website to look at. And my son manages it, and it's a fun website. We got some cool stuff on there, but we really don't have where you can send money. And if you
I see y'all. See, he's so kind, but again, you never know who out there. Somebody who's like, man, I love what y'all doing.
Yeah.
How can I support?
Okay, I would say
at least an email on that, Roland.
I think we finally put an email on there.
Okay, y'all. So if y'all like, some of y'all somebody may want to say, man, I love the work they're doing. Go to parishfoundation.org. Parishfoundation.org. Ain't no donate button, but find the email and then you can send the email.
Yeah.
But bro, at least put a donate button on there because you never know.
Right. Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do that.
Well, man, I appreciate it.
And I always want to say this on air. I've tried to get Mr. Martin, hey, you know, like Mike and Mike, when you said the Mike and Mike show, rolling and rolling. So whatever he has for a website, send it in and say you should have the Rolling and Rolling show. We could do sports, we could do history, whatever you want to talk about. Rolling and rolling. And you could be the first rolling.
Now you gotta understand. I own it, so I ain't got to ask nobody.
I don't have to ask anybody.
All right, so
when do I show up?
Okay,
when do I show up?
All right, see. All right, when you get a phone call, you better be ready. Say,
Mike and Mike has nothing on us. Rolling and rolling.
Okay.
Rolling and rolling.
All right, when he get the call, he gonna be like, oh yeah, you wasn't joking, huh? Okay, I'm gonna let you know.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
I appreciate it, baby.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Bye now.
All right, folks. Now, the golf tournament was being hosted by my girl, radio show host, Lady Jade. Now, she recently started playing golf, and anytime she posts one of her golf videos on Instagram, she'll get a text from me with a critique. And so, I had to ask her about what's up with her swing. All right, y'all, we out in the golf course. So, y'all, this is Jade. You the queen of getting my text messages when you post your swing. So
let me just say something. Roland is my online golf coach. I know that anytime I post anything about golf, my phone is gonna be like, ding. See what the problem is. That's what he's gonna tell me. He's gonna send me about 1,000 Amazon links. You need to work on this. You need to work on this. So just know, when I get good, it's because of that man right there.
And I tell her, I'm like, look, get your grip, get your stance. Y'all understand? She'll post a video, and I'll be like, girl, come on now, let's work on, let's get the grip, get the stance.
I'm trying to be cute. He's like, absolutely not.
Right, but she keep trying to hit that driver. See, that's the problem. See, she want to be shot caller big baller, and I'm like, Jay, put that damn driver down.
Dude, that's the one for me, because I feel like, let me not even.
Hold on, give us your stance. Come on. Come on, give us your stance.
I'm here. Look, I almost pigeon-toed.
Now, see, I'm going to tell y'all, see, right now, y'all, her stance is fine. Way too much tension in her arms. Relax the arms, see? Way too much tension. See, right there. See, y'all, this is the kind of text message she'll get.
It is.
I'll be like, too much tension. I'm like, too much tension.
It's because I'm nervous.
Right, she nervous. Always some good time at the golf course, and so it was great to see everybody. Of course, I spent a considerable amount of time here in Dallas at, of course, Fort Worth Telegram, KKDA Radio, News Director, Morning Anchor, also managing editor of the Dallas Weekly, and so saw Tim Brown out there, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Ed Too Tall Jones, Everson Walls. Everson almost hit into our group. Y'all know I had to crack on him, but it was great seeing him. Eugene Lockhart, former University of Houston star, who also played for the Cowboys. So a lot of people, a lot of Alpha brothers out there. And so it was great to see everybody out there raising money for the Parish Family Foundation. Shout out to Tosca Medlock for hooking me up, inviting me to the tournament. So it was absolutely fabulous. So I will not be back in studio on Monday because I will be in Rhode Island. My man Jeffrey Osborne is having his Celebrity Golf Classic, and y'all know it's always fun. You know I'll come back with some great stuff. You know it's going to be some singing. You know it's going to be some singing going on. So I'll be live from Rhode Island Monday and Tuesday for the Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Classic. And folks, that's it for us. I appreciate all of y'all for watching the show, for sticking around. Remember, got several things going on here. First and foremost, we're trying to raise $1 million to support the show. We've got some fantastic things we're going to be covering over in 2026. So your support is critical. And so to give to us via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here, bottom left-hand screen. Use that QR code. That can be also used for credit cards as well. PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo, RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Also, check some money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 2003 7-0196. Folks, download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to get a copy of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. Available at bookstores nationwide. Get the audio version I read on Audible. Of course, get our Black Star Network, Roland Martin Unfiltered swag, hats, T-shirts, mugs, you name it, we got it. Go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. The QR code's there as well. Of course, get our shirt. MAGA chose between woke or broke. They chose broke. Hashtag we tried to tell you. FAFO Project 2025. And our bestseller, Don't Blame Me. I voted for the black woman. That's it right there. So get the shirts right there. Also, support our black-owned businesses. We have a number of them with their products on shopblackstarnetwork.com. Of course, go to our marketplace. Like we got backpacks, we got candles, we got all sorts of stuff. We got skin products, we got art, you name it, we got it. All that stuff, shopblackstarnetwork.com. You're looking for birthday gifts, anniversary gifts. You know, hey, Christmas is going to be in the next quarter. Y'all go to shopblackstarnetwork.com and buy everything out. You heard Roland Parrish talk about it. We have got to support black-owned businesses because that's who also gives back to our community. Be sure to check out our podcast on the iHeartRadio Network, available on all platforms. So check that out as well. And don't forget, we want you to support Fanbase. And so be sure to download the app Fanbase. We want to blow that up. Everybody should be downloading Fanbase. If you want to invest in Fanbase, go to startengine.com/Fanbase, startengine.com/Fanbase. Folks, that's it. I'll see you on Monday on the Roland Martin Unfiltered Black Star Network. And I'm sorry, who was just talking to me? What were you saying? Okay, somebody said something to me. No, somebody did say something to me. Okay, all right, whatever. We always end the show every Friday with our donors. We've had, at last count, 45,216 people have donated since we launched this show. We always roll it on Friday. I'll see y'all on Monday. Holla!
Thank you.